Katie Thurston tries dating herself, 1-year paradise engagement anniversaries, and Elizabeth from Clatyon season has a big announcement. Hey guys, and welcome back to another shared news. We've got the latest reality TV Bachelor headlines to dive into. But before we get all into it, be sure to give this video a thumbs up. And if you're new here, be sure to subscribe to our channel. As always, I'm your host, Zachary Reality, with the lovely Alison Van Dam. Alison, how are you doing today? Which topic are you most excited to dive into?
I am doing well, thank you. I am honestly excited to talk about our Bachelor in Paradise couples reaching a year into their engagement. I think that's a huge accomplishment. I've heard, the first year of, I think it's marriage can be the hardest, but I guess the first year of an engagement might also be hard. So excited to catch up with them, see if they have any wedding plans. And I also do want to talk about Katie Thurston dating herself, because I think it's a really interesting concept.
Yeah, well then let's talk about Katie Thurston dating herself, because she is single. I mean, it's been a crazy year for her as she went from the voice of reason on Matt James's season of The Bachelor to The Bachelorette, a failed engagement with Blake Moynes, to reconnecting and dating John from week 2 of her season. And just last week, Katie and John called it quits. They announced their split with a very vague statement from Katie saying that they broke up with no context, and now she is ready to start dating herself. And before we even get into that, just a few days after they announced their breakup, they were hanging out at the fair over the weekend with a few of their other friends. And it seems like John is going to be living with Katie until he finds his own place. So it sounds like this breakup was really amicable. What do you possibly think went wrong? How are they able to have such a smooth transition to friendship?
I don't know, because in my experiences and in the experiences I've seen from others, you typically do need a period of just cutting everything off, not communicating, so that you can reset and come back together as friends. I think rarely can you just transition straight from something romantic back into friendship. Although maybe it helped them that they started out as friends. Maybe they didn't have, as
True.
deep of a passion as maybe they were trying to convince us that they did. So maybe it always was a little bit more friendly. I don't know, but it is weird. I think that they're still living together and trying to figure out what their new relationship is. I saw Tammy's story when they were out at the San Diego fair. John looked a little sad, if I'm being honest, but maybe it was just not a good photo of him. But I guess more power to them. I don't think I would want to continue living with someone that I broke up with, let alone continuing to go out, hang out with them, and spend basically as much time with them as we did when we were together.
Yeah. I mean, we know Katie took that 30-day social media break where she went to the forest and, she kind of shared some pictures at a waterfall. So it's possible that they maybe broke up before she took that break and she had her time off, and now they're able to kind of reconnect as friends. We really don't know, and we won't until one of them goes on a podcast and spills it all. We're still kind of, hoping Michelle and Nate, talk more about their breakup. We want some insight, but it's really up to the couples in their own time. And right now with Katie, as she is trying to get back into the swing of things, she's looking for a new place. She originally had bought an Adventures with Couple book, which she shared on TikTok, and she was supposed to use it to write about her memories with John, but she is now using this book to date herself. She took herself to dinner, went to the beach to watch the sunset, and is spending quality time by herself. How do you feel about this? Is this the best way to get over a breakup? How important is it to get to know yourself?
Oh my gosh, this is the healthiest, best way that anyone can recover from a breakup. I think a lot of the times there's a misconception of, oh, I'll just distract myself with someone new and I'll start going out and potentially just sleeping with a bunch of random people. And that's fine. And sometimes that can scratch an itch. But at the end of the day, this is the best time to reconnect with yourself, figure out what you really want in a relationship, what you were maybe missing in your previous relationship. And it's going to help you figure out exactly what something new that you will be looking for later is going to be. And so I think it's great that she's taking time to reconnect with herself, check in. And honestly, you are your own soulmate in life. Boyfriends can come and go. And so if you're not happy with yourself, and if you don't know yourself, and if you don't like spending time with yourself, that's something to really dive into deeply, because I don't think that you can be the best partner you can be without knowing yourself and being a good partner to yourself first.
Yeah, I love that she's doing this. I've been doing this for years. I have been dating myself. I am my own best friend. Like, I have done so many things by myself where I just go out to dinner, I'll go to the beach, I'll spend like time by myself going for a walk. Like, it really is important to just get to know yourself and have fun with yourself and laugh with yourself. I know it can be really hard and awkward at first, especially when you're like going out in public. But it gets easier over time. And then when you really find yourself and love yourself, other people will love you too and want to hang out with you. So I'm glad that Katie is taking this time and, maybe there'll be love for her sometime later in the year. Moving on to our paradise couples, Mari and Kenny, as well as Joe and Serena, are celebrating 1 year of engagement. So we saw them get engaged last season on Bachelor in Paradise. Allison, are you surprised that these two couples are still together? Because we all had our money on Marissa and Riley, and they ended up breaking up. But these two couples are still going strong.
I am surprised by Mari and Kenny. I am not surprised by Joe and Serena. I just think Joe and Serena, similar to Abigail and Noah, just had this very, simple, easy, not dramatic beginning to their relationship. And I think that just created such like a normal foundation for them so that they could build a deeper connection. I always think like when people start out and it's difficult and it's back and forth, some people think that's love because they're feeling so much passion back and forth. But really, I think the best relationships just start easy. They feel really safe for both people. And I think that's what we saw between Joe and Serena. I'm really happy for Mari and Kenny. I've been kind of following along with her, pageantry run that she's currently having because I believe she has to do all of those pageants before she gets married. I don't think you can be married and kind of run for those pageants. So I'm happy for her. I'm glad that she's doing that. She has one last shot before they end up getting married. But I think it'll be great to see their weddings, have other Bachelor alums there, maybe other alums from their time on the beach. And I think it is really cool to see that this franchise can have successful love stories and successful relationships. We just saw JoJo and Jordan get married, go on their honeymoon. They're so, so happy. So it's nice that we have some good positive examples to balance out the breakups that we also get along the way. So I'm very happy for them.
Yeah, there has been a lot of breakups recently. So it's nice to be reminded that there still is some couples still together. We know that Mari and Kenny moved in together. She moved to Chicago from Maryland. I think they're planning their wedding in Puerto Rico sometime. I'm not sure if they have a date yet. While Joe and Serena, they did long distance for a little bit. It seemed like they were together all the time. And then they officially moved in together in New York City a couple of months ago. So I also have my money on these couples. I think they're going to get married. I think that they are going to make it for the long haul. I'm not really too surprised about either of them. I do kind of agree. I feel like Joe and Serena just fit like a glove. It was just really two energies just colliding. And Mari and Kenny, I kind of felt like they had their own thing. There was a little bit of conflict with Demi at the time. But she moved to Chicago pretty quickly after the show ended. So that kind of showed how committed she was. Do you think that there is a better strategy? Because, Joe and Serena took like 6 months to move in together, if not 8 months, where Mari and Kenny kind of went right away. Or do you think it's just different strokes for different folks?
I think it really just depends. There is still a high likelihood of you not ending up with someone from Bachelor Nation because objectively, no matter if it was The Bachelor, The Bachelorette, Bachelor in Paradise, you've spent so little time with each other. You really just don't know. And I mean, you can pull we'll move in together right away. You can say, let's wait. I mean, we've seen Nick Viall has talked about on the Viall Files, he and Vanessa moved together right away. They were like, doesn't make sense for you to go back to Canada. Why don't you just move with me in LA? They moved in together. Nate and Michelle did the complete opposite where they never moved in together and both of those couples ended. So I think it really just depends. And I don't think it's necessarily an exact science of if you move in together right away versus if you wait. I think it really just comes down to how strong the relationship is and how hard each person in the relationship wants to work on making it work, on making a priority, on traveling to see each other, on creating communication, on really getting to know each other because you don't know a lot about each other.
Absolutely. Let's move on to our next topic because Elizabeth from Clayton's season, Elizabeth Corrigan, she has come out So this was a little bit of a shock for me. I did not expect this. Not that it even matters, but we do love Elizabeth and we're happy for her as she has come out as bisexual. Now, Elizabeth made quite the name for herself on Clayton's season when she battled it up against Shanae over Shrimpgate and had to defend her ADHD. Well, since the show, Elizabeth has moved to New York City from Denver and has recently came out as bisexual during Pride Month. She shared a photo to Instagram and shared that while many people in her life already knew, this is the first time she's making it public. Elizabeth writes, "It's hard to know the right way to say these things or the right time. Today seems like both and neither. Waking up this morning to my first Pride in NYC, I was so excited. I sprung out of bed, went to get coffee, and bought a flag and began feeling anxious, overwhelming. Am I ready? Am I scared? When will be the right time? Qualify it. It's important to me today to share with you all that I am queer. More specifically, I am and always have been bisexual." I mean, congratulations for her coming out. It's definitely the time of year to celebrate the gays. It is Pride Month. She's living her best life. How important do you think LGBTQ representation is in the Bachelor franchise?
I think it's so important because this show has been on for so long. It's, somewhat evolved, but not really. And I think it's been called out for that before of, it does have these kind of older, more traditional dating ideals. It is very much like a heterosexual show as opposed to other shows that have involved queer characters or had, both men and women to pick from. I think about The Bachelorette in Australia, I think it was, and The Bachelorette was bisexual and had both men and women there to date her, to show interest in her. And I think that's been thrown around of maybe the US should be following suit. I know we had Demi down on the beach. She ended up leaving with her girlfriend at that time. So I think the more we can just diversify this franchise in any way, whether that be race, sexuality, gender, I'm here for it because I think what we see on TV should represent what we see in our normal lives. And what we see in our normal lives isn't just a bunch of heterosexual white people trying to find love. Like there is so much diversity out there. And so I think as much as this franchise can include that, the better.
Absolutely. I mean, I would have loved to see Elizabeth on the beach this summer in Paradise. She did not end up going, and they're also almost done filming Paradise. They're going to be ending filming this week. I would love to see more of Elizabeth on TV or just doing whatever she does. She's a super fun follow. So everyone go check her out on Instagram. We're super happy for her. And I hope that one day we get a LGBTQ Bachelor or a queer season. But if not, there's so many other reality shows that, are better off with representation. As we mentioned, The Bachelor has just not grown much in the past few years. We got to move on to our last topic, Blake and Giannina. So Blake Hortzman and Giannina are finally sharing their new relationship as their new show, All Star Shore, premieres June 29th on Paramount Plus. Now, the main goal of this show is to win $150,000 cash prize. It was not to fall in love, but Blake and Giannina did that anyway. The two have been dating for over 6 months, and Blake says he did not expect to meet anyone on this show, but it felt super genuine with Giannina. Giannina shares, "It was so refreshing, honestly, because there was just no expectations whatsoever. It was the most organic connection, and it was very romantic, and it carried over after the show. Their relationship is still going strong, and they're starting to open up about it as the new show premieres." Now, one thing about this couple is obviously they seem super genuine and in love, but we gotta talk about the PR of it all. It's just so convenient. It's so crazy the way they teased their relationship, had the paparazzi pictures, all for this show. And now here's the show, and now they wanna talk about it. It's just what do you think is real and what do you think is not real? Because it seems like maybe they are in love, obviously, but also it's just working out really great to promote this new show.
Yeah, the timing is in a way a little bit too perfect, especially because they did tease us for so long. The internet sleuths were out there. They were posting solo shots with the same background and cropping each other out. And Giannina did that one that her phone slightly hid his face. They were kind of toying with us a little bit. And I think in that way piqued our interest even more. I honestly think that because they kind of tried to hide it and made us work for it, people became more invested as opposed to them just coming right out and saying it. Then we saw Giannina recently with her post of here for the DJ. Their whole thing has been very cutesy and cheeky, and it is really good timing for the premiere of the show. I honestly think it will be interesting to see, are they still together once the show starts premiering, when the show is done? I don't know. I mean, I am kind of optimistic just because it's not a dating show. I think sometimes when something just falls into your lap, it happens more organically. There's not this pressure of falling in love. So it doesn't surprise me that they maybe both bonded on being on other reality shows. They bonded on being on this new show. And maybe they started out kind of as friends. Maybe they just thought each other was cute. And then it blossomed into this relationship. So I'm trying to be optimistic because it does seem like it was kind of a coincidence. But then again, the timing is a little weird. So I'm optimistic with slight caution. I'm kind of in the middle.
I mean, I like them. I think they're a hot couple. I'm starting to watch like the previews for the show. It's coming out tomorrow, so I'm gonna check it out. I'm a huge Blake stan, so I'm really rooting for him on this show. I hope that he wins the money, and I'm excited to see their dynamic on camera and their dynamic after the show. Because I do agree with you, it's the PR is just too perfect, and I don't know if it's just the way everything turned out, but it's just too on point here. So we'll see what develops with them. Those are our top Bachelor headlines for the week. So make sure you guys comment down below your thoughts, your comments, your questions. And thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell before you head out of here. As always, I'm your host, Zachary Reality with Alison Van Dam. Our social media handles are on the screen right now, so be sure to give us a follow. Come say hello. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will catch you in the next one. Bye.